Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. Boog Nice coming at you with a casual overview of the Age of Apocalypse Colossus Build-A-Figure. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This runs for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini maybe I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
So here's a real quick look at the AOA Colossus Build-A-Figure next to his wave mates in the order that I did review them. So Magneto, Rogue, Cyclops, and Sabretooth. And then I went ahead and left in Cyclops and Sabretooth. Cyclops was probably one of the characters that was most anticipated in figure form from the AOA universe until we actually saw him. This was probably the weakest figure in the wave, and then Sabretooth here was probably one of the best figures in the wave. And then continuing on in order of the reviews that I did, there's Shadowcat, Iceman, and Legion. You needed 6 of these 7 figures to complete the Colossus Build-A-Figure. Magneto did not come with a Build-A-Figure part. And there's a quick side-by-side with Colossus and Kitty Pryde, aka Shadowcat. As I mentioned in the Shadowcat review, Colossus and Kitty Pryde were an item in the AOA universe. In fact, they were married. They were both part of Magneto's X-Men. Some of the original members actually. Early on, Colossus actually saved Kitty Pryde from Sabretooth before Sabretooth defected over to Magneto's crew. That's how the two met, and that's how they actually fell in love. But at some point, Colossus didn't want to fight for the cause anymore, but he did agree to train the next generation of X-Men with his wife, Kitty Pryde, aka Shadowcat. Their union would end tragically with the death of Kitty Pryde and then the death of Colossus thereafter, after they went in on a mission to save Colossus's sister, who Magneto needed because of her ability to transverse realities, and Magneto was trying to restore their reality back to the way it should be before Apocalypse began to rule. Colossus's sister was actually being held captive by Sugar Man. They were able to rescue her and get her back to Magneto, but at some point Colossus learned that the reality was one in which his sister was actually dead. So he went crazy. He literally went mad, and at one point Kitty tried to step in front of him as he was charging forward. She figured she'd be able to get him to calm down. She didn't phase, but he basically just ran right through her and trampled her and killed her, and then Gambit actually put down Colossus. So again, a tragic ending to their relationship and to their tenure with the X-Men. But they did this Build-A-Figure justice. I think it's a really good representation of the character from the comic books. I mean, you know, some of the artwork for AOA was wild. It was all over the place, but Marvel Legends did a good job bringing this figure, this character into the fold and making him look like he fits in the line. Once built, you were able to have 2 fists for Colossus as well as 2 hands that are open with the finger spread. So I am happy that you were able to get a set of interchangeable hands. It would have been nice if he was packed in with an additional head sculpt though, you know, something more neutral, relaxed. And that would have given them the opportunity to not only give you the neutral head sculpt, but his like special over the eye do-rag here. The tassels could have looked as if they weren't windswept too, and could have just rested against his back, or maybe even been able to rest against the top of his chest. But they went all out for Colossus, gave us a brand new sculpt. There's a lot of separate parts here, so I'm hoping at some point they may reuse this guy. Maybe we'll get an Outback shirtless Colossus, because you can remove these parts here. This is kind of annoying because it comes undone very easily, but a phenomenal sculpt here nonetheless. So yeah, there's a look at that. Again, the gauntlets and sort of elbow pads are separate parts, but they are glued on, so you would have to actually heat those up to remove them. But I just want to give you guys an idea of sort of what the base buck looks like and help you envision my vision of them giving us another Colossus at some point. There he is next to 2 more versions of himself, 2 more comic based versions of himself, and the Warlock Build-A-Figure wave Colossus on the left and the Colossus that was packed in with Juggernaut on the right. We did get another Colossus from Hasbro in the Brood Build-A-Figure wave. That was the Fox X-Men movie version. I don't think I have him anymore, although I do have a couple Brood Build-A-Figures. And besides that, we had the old Toy Biz version of Colossus from Series 5, if I'm not mistaken, of Marvel Legends, which was redecoed as an X-Men Classics version. But you can see how much larger this Colossus Build-A-Figure is than the other 2 versions. There you go. There's the old Toy Biz versions. You can see how those look. still hold up as okay figures for the time. Obviously Hasbro took this to new heights and actually gave us a more uniform Colossus that looks good with what they've been doing in modern times, but these are still gems. Some weird costumes for that Outback X-Men team, especially for Psylocke, but they're gonna have to get some reuse out of this mold, and I definitely see that as a possibility. Maybe we'll get Rogue in a different deco, Dazzler, maybe we'll get an updated Hasbro long shot, we'll always get thousands of Wolverines, and maybe an updated Storm. We also need an old school Havoc as well, and that would pretty much round out the core team. But you know, larger body here, larger hands as well, so you're not gonna really be able to swap the hands between any of these and it look right. Not to mention that each one of them have a different sort of skin tone. This does kinda work. This is the additional head sculpt that was packed in with the Warlock Build-A-Figure Wave Colossus on the left. When you put the gear back on, it makes it look a little better, but the head sculpt is a little on the small side. Just giving you an idea of what it could look like if they gave us an additional neutral head sculpt. And that one actually looks even better. And there he is next to a couple of bad guys from the AOA universe, Sugar Man, who he pounded out ferociously, and Apocalypse. The Sugar Man Build-A-Figure, by the way. That was from the first series of AOA figures. I'm hoping we get a third. Maybe we'll get his sister in the third wave. We definitely need Sinister, Nightcrawler, and Gambit. Nightcrawler and Gambit will kind of round out the core sort of X-Men team. And then it would probably be good to get Havoc. And you know, I've been saying in every review that we need an updated Nemesis Build-A-Figure as well, or deluxe box set figure, whatever comes first. And there he is with two of the most recent Build-A-Figures I completed, or the Build-A-Wings for Falcon there on the left from the Disney Plus wave. Looking forward to getting the Falcon Cap and Worthy Cap 2-pack so I can have an unmasked Sam Wilson here, and also two fists for this guy. And then on the right is the Ursa Major Build-A-Figure. Shout out to my man Joshua Booker, aka Comic Customs. He actually hooked me up with the last part that I needed for this figure. When I first took a picture of Ursa Major with some of his other teammates, his arm wasn't even actually attached, but I did get the final arm that I needed with the Ultron figure. So this is one of my favorite, most recent Build-A-Figures, but again, would have loved a neutral head sculpt for this guy. But yeah, dope Build-A-Figure, one I would definitely recommend. You're gonna need 6 of the 7 figures out of this wave to complete this guy if you want him, or you could just buy him whole on the secondary market from eBay or something. But I think they did a really good job on this figure. It is one I would highly recommend. Thank you for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell down there. And until next time, peace.
I'm in the game, I'm grinding. I got to play 24 hours in a day, 7 days out the week. I never sleep. I'm on my grizzly bear, 52 weeks out the year.